What's up and welcome back to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, November 17th, 2023. Of course, I am Tim Geddes, and I'm joined by the new face of video games, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
I just want you to know that during the intro, I cleared my throat because I thought I was about to host.
Yeah.
Like, there was the first split second, both of us were going to start hosting the show at the same time, and I was like, nope, I'm not in that seat.
I want you to know that as the intro was starting, I had a moment of like, how do I intro this show? And I looked down and I read the headline, Last of Us Part 2 is finally coming to PS5. And I almost started the show saying, Last of Us Part 2.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. How's your morning going?
Oh, it's going great, Bless, because tonight something very special is happening. Well, I guess technically last night, but tonight we are going to be able to enjoy the first new Scott Pilgrim content in many years. Scott Pilgrim takes off, coming to Netflix.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited because I'm one of those people, and I'm ashamed about it.
Yeah.
When you ask me, oh, what's your favorite movie? The first movie that comes to mind is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, because I'm a dork, I'm a nerd, I get it. I love Michael Cera, it's all true. But I love this movie, and like I'm very excited. As a kid, it sucks because they had the Scott Pilgrim comics in my library, my school library, and so I would like check them out. But I was that kid that like just also wouldn't read. Like I hated reading as a kid, so I'd check them out, just be like, oh yeah, this is cool, and then I just fucking wouldn't do anything with them. And so I'm excited to actually see this animated version of Scott Pilgrim.
Very different than if it is based on the graphic novel. I don't know how much they're going to change and stuff, but very similar, but very different than the movie. So I'm excited for you to see the twists and turns that are going to happen there.
Did you listen to the new Andre 3000 album?
You know what, Bless? I did.
Yeah, did you?
I did. Well, as much as I could. You know what I mean? I really, I want to let you know. I gave it an honest shot. And I went into it being like, look, I want it to be a rap album. Duh. Andre is debatably the best to ever do it. Like, if you're just talking about like verse for verse, it's like, which there aren't that many of them out there, but like, especially guest verses. He comes through and he just destroys,
incredible.
Right? I want that, but I'm like, at the same time, I respect him as an artist. Whatever he wants to give me, I want to give a shot. And I like instrumental music quite a bit. I like live instrumental music a lot. So I was like, him doing a flute album, this sounds not exactly what I'd ask for, but I think it's gonna be something I want. And then about 5 minutes into the first song that I think is like 37 minutes long, and I realized this is it. And then I skipped to the second song and I skimmed forward and it sounded exactly that's belittling it. It's not that, but I was like, it's a very, very similar vibe, and like there's not as much loud percussion as I would have expected. It's more of the like chimey type percussion. I was like, okay, this sounds like music my mom used to listen to when I was a little kid. And when she was maybe not smoking the reefer. You know what I mean?
Listening to wind instruments while you're smoking that wind.
Yes, exactly. But what about you?
I mean, I listened to it in my car on the way here, and I did the thing where I skipped through like a bunch of the tracks and started like listening to different parts to see like, okay, what is this? Because knew it wasn't gonna be a rap album. He said as much. We've been seeing clips of this man with a flute for like 2 decades now, so you knew what this is gonna be. But funny enough, like while I was listening to it, I felt like, do you have like a nephew or like children in your life that want to impress you, and like they're like, hey, watch this jump, and they do a jump, and you're like, yeah, let's go, that's awesome.
His name's Kevin.
Exactly, yeah. That's how I felt listening to this album, where I like skimmed through a song and I started listening to some of the parts, and I was like, Andre 3000 is kind of talented.
No, I mean, he's talented.
He's talented.
Yo,
like, this is actually some pretty good music.
Undeniably, yes. It's just like, do I vibe with it? Maybe not so much.
I'm never gonna listen to it again. But I was like, this is actually like really good quality. Yeah, like you're really like Andre 3000 might be one of the most talented musicians of our time. Like, he is fucking incredible.
And then the new 2 Chainz Lil Wayne album dropped last night.
It did.
That I didn't even know it was coming. So I popped onto Apple Music and I looked over trying to find Andre. He was dug way deep in there, which
I mean, new Drake also dropped too, which makes it difficult.
Exactly. But I saw the 2 Chainz thing. I was like, all right, popped in, saw Fabulous on a guest verse there. I'm like, all right, gotta listen to this.
Okay.
Kind of fun.
Let's
but anyway, enough about all of that. This is Kinda Funny Games Daily, where each and every weekday we get together to talk about all the video game news you need to know. Stories like Last of Us 2's PS5 being spotted, new Final Fantasy VII Rebirth details, and more. You can get the show live every weekday right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames or youtube.com/kindafunnygames. You can also get it later as a VOD, so you can watch at your leisure on YouTube or roosterteeth.com. If podcasts are more your thing, we're right there for you on your favorite podcast service. Just search for KindaFunny Games daily. If you wanted to go above and beyond, though, patreon.com/KindaFunny is where you want to go. You can get all our shows ad-free, a whole bunch of bonus content. You get to support us just like our Patreon producers. Where are they at? Who do I want to shout out? You know what? I want to shout out Jakeson Hampton and Delaney Twining. Thank you all so very, very much. Over on Patreon, actually, we got a new Remember Blank.
Yeah.
It's up today where the audience pitches the crew on their picks for Game of the Year.
It's a fun episode because, man, let me tell you, Remember Blank is losing the plot. We didn't remember shit. We sat there and we were like, hey, write us your pitches for Game of the Year. And like, let's see what we think about it. It was a really fun episode. So highly recommended.
That's cool. You can go check that out now on Patreon. More stuff on Patreon. You can get Nerf Alice's iconic shirtless Spider-Man shirt as the premium collector's item this month. You can get yours at patreon.com/KindaFunny. Barrett, I really apologize. I went out of order on the doc.
You threw me off, too.
I was trying to find the Patreon producers that I got locked in, but I appreciate you keeping up. But anyways, you can get this shirt on patreon.com/KindaFunny. Going back a little bit to the housekeeping section, a new PS I Love You XOXO is up, where Greg gives his PlayStation Portal thoughts and the crew celebrates the PS4's 10-year anniversary. I was playing with my Portal a little bit last night.
Yeah.
And man, it is a 10 out of 10. Unless it's a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh my
God. It's like, oh man.
I just keep mine at work now because I'm like at home. It works only like 50% of the time, and when it's working, it's like any moment my Wi-Fi is going to give up and it's just not going to work. So I keep it at work because I keep it here at the office because it's easier, or it's way better to use. It works flawlessly here, and it is such a good time.
It works 60% of the time every time.
I mean,
exactly.
Well, no, but see, that's the problem. Is it works 100%.
That's the thing. It works every time.
Or it doesn't work.
It works every time, 60% of the time.
Yeah. It's frustrating. And then what else do we got here? I already shout out our Patreon producers. I wanted to give a shout out. We were talking about Patreon. We normally talk about our Patreon, and we're going to continue to do that. But I want to talk about another person's Patreon right now, and that man is Orioto. We've talked about Orioto for years now at KindaFunny. The KindaFunny Games Cast art, he's provided all of it that we've been using for years, and he adds like a filter to kind of add all the blues and the pinks to make it the Games Cast colors. But his art is absolutely stunning, and I cannot shout it out enough. Barrett, if you could bring up the tweet that he just did. He did a whole series of D-makes of Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, I love this.
And oh my lord, they are absolutely stunning.
I kind of want this actually.
For audio listeners out there, you should check out Orioto, Orioto, on Twitter, on Instagram, but specifically on Patreon to go support him. Like, come on.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
like
so sick.
Almost like the Link's Awakening remake style, but it's Tears of the Kingdom footage. It looks really cool.
And he's had hundreds, if not thousands, of these art pieces. I don't understand how he can be this talented. Like he's been pumping these things out. I've been a fan of his since, I want to say, like 2008 or something. Like he's been in the game doing this. But he also, over on like Redbubble and things, he offers prints that you can buy. And I did this like in my theater. I have like 5 of these displayed of some of my favorite games that I actually bought, so you can see them all lined up there. But I got Super Mario World, which, come on,
these are sick as hell.
Come on, Smash Brothers here. We got Final Fantasy X. We got Metal Gear Solid 2, and then the one other one was Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. But pretty much, if there's a game that you love, chances are he's done art of it, at least one piece, if not more.
Yeah.
So you could definitely go check it out. Support him on Patreon. Go buy some prints. He's going to have some Black Friday sales. I just really wanted to give him a shout out because he has been so good to KindaFunny. And I mean, he makes my room look awesome.
I love this one of the Moon Monster from Bloodborne.
Hell yeah.
That's not what they're called. It's called like the Moon Demon or some shit. But like, there's nothing like really good video game art that you then also frame and put on your wall.
That's what I'm saying.
And like, there's something that's just nice about it because like, you bring people over and then they don't even have to be nerds, but they can still appreciate it because they're like, oh, you got good art. But then deep down, you're like, oh, but that's Final Destination from Smash. And they don't realize it.
Exactly. It's one of those things that it got fully Gia approved. You know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah.
Which, like, it's rare for video game stuff. But, like, that is in our house. She is happy about it.
The Moon Presence also is what it's called. But I like calling it the Moon Monster.
Moon Monster, everybody.
The monster on the moon.
But anyway, enough about all of that. Let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Reports. It's time for some news. We got 5 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
No post show today, by the way.
Oh, that's the other housekeeping.
No
post show. Also, there's a new episode of The Shit List.
So much new stuff. So much good stuff.
Also, thank you to BetterHelp. I forget if we said that
Yeah,
part.
thank you to Better. We're all over the place today. Story number 1.
You can get us a Epic if you want to support us.
Yeah,
Epic
all
creator
the
code.
things. Thank you. There we go. There we go. Look at us. What a team. Story number 1. PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 2 reportedly added to PlayStation's database. This comes from Jordan Midler at VGC. A PlayStation 5 version of The Last of Us Part 2 has seemingly been added to the PlayStation database. Twitter account PlayStation Game Size, which has a history of scraping the back end of the PlayStation Network to find out. I don't either.
Scraping the back end. Yuck.
What has been added to it has suggested that a PS5 version of the 2020 PS4 game has been added, suggesting a release could be imminent. In July, The Last of Us Part 2 composer Gustavo, do you know how to say his last name?
I've never heard it out loud. I'll say like Santalala, but that's just me guessing.
That sounds right. We're going to go with that.
Yeah.
Seemingly let slip that an enhanced version of the game was in development at Naughty Dog. Several reports published last year also claimed Naughty Dog was working on a director's cut of TLOU 2, and VGC sources previously suggested that the unannounced game was nearing completion as well.
I brought up a YouTube video. That's how to pronounce his name.
Let's hear it.
Hold on. Bear, do you hear this?
No, you gotta put it up to the
Okay,
mic.
hold on. Oh, man! Shout out to Windows for making a light laptop. This is what what do they call this laptop? The Microsoft Air or something?
Surface.
The Surface. Shout out to the Surface. Right, here we go.
No way.
That cannot be
No
right.
fucking way.
Santolasha.
I don't think that's right.
So the two L's make a SH sound?
But I mean, I've heard people say his name before, and that didn't sound like that.
I mean, that's
How'd
what
they say it then, Tim?
pronouncenames.com says it like that.
I mean, shit. I don't want that smoke.
pronouncenames.com has never steered me wrong. Santolasha.
See, motherfuckers are just messing with us now in the chat.
Yeah.
Anyways, Last of Us 2, bless.
Yes.
A remake, a PS5 version, a remaster. Who the
Okay,
hell
well, even though
cares
it's not
what we
Director's
call it?
cut.
Director's
It
cut.
could be anything. It could be anything. Okay, it's happening in the Game Awards. Lock it in,
Oh.
right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is that hype for Game Awards, though?
I don't think it needs to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I mean, it's more hype than
Then nothing, I
Then-
guess.
yeah,
A
you know what I
PC
mean?
port. I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, a PS5 version of The Last of Us, especially if it's a director's cut. Where was the Death Stranding director's cut announced? I feel like that was a Jeff Keighley thing. And I know that's Kojima, but also, like,
Oh, it was Gamescom, wasn't it?
was it Gamescom? It might have been.
That feels right.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, no. It was. Wait,
Gamescom
no.
2020?
It was Kickoff Live. It
Was
was
it Kickoff
Summer
Live?
Games. It was the first Summer Game Fest Kickoff Live because I was at Disneyland and I had to miss that reaction. And I was really
flashbacks.
upset about it. And I was trying to watch. I was trying to Discord in from Disneyland to be on the stream, and it didn't work.
Oh, I
So-
vaguely remember that.
Like, Jeff Keighley obviously has that close relationship with Kojima.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation also likes Jeff Keighley, right? Especially on the Naughty Dog side of things. It was at Kickoff where we got the Last of Us factions news, or Last of Us multiplayer thing, right? And then also Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're bringing Last of Us Part 2 to PS5, could make a lot of sense to do it at a Keighley thing. I think now's about the time. I'm surprised we haven't gotten it already. I think that's me the thing. Because if you rewind back to Last of Us Remastered, the original, that came out in 2014. That was a year after Last of Us already came out.
But I think
That was the first year into the PS4.
We're in a different world though now, especially when it comes to The Last of Us and PlayStation as popular as it is, where the Last of Us Remastered came out at a time where PS4 was first taking its baby steps. You know what I mean? Into dominance.
Yeah.
Now PlayStation is so much more a household name, and Last of Us clearly because of HBO is even more of a household name. I feel like it's a great, and also with Spider-Man coming out and God of War Ragnarok and Horizon, they had such a good like stretch of releases, including Last of Us Part 1 on PS5, that they didn't need to put this. And I actually think that separating, like at the time, it was like, why would they put this out without Part 2? This should have been a dual thing, whatever. But now it's like, all right, actually, business-wise, it probably makes a lot of sense to have this kind of steady chain of releases because now they don't have that.
Yeah, there's a little gap.
So there's a gap. So this coming out early next year, I think could make a lot of sense. And then on top of that, I feel like it's kind of the right time with the strikes being over. And I don't think that like they actually tied it to all this, but it does work
I mean,
out.
Last of Us season 2 is going to be the start
Is
of Last of Us 2.
starting production in late this
January.
year or January it was
Yeah.
January. So I feel like it's kind of a perfect thing of the amount of people that watched the HBO show for the first time, then played part 1 for a part 2 to come out. It's kind of like exciting, and I feel like then there's going to be a big group of people that are going to be like, "Oh, I actually want to play it." So like, I get to be one of the cool kids that's in the know when the show comes out.
I guess. Yeah, I think you're selling me on it a bit because when I first saw this pop, I think the thing for me is I was like, man, I don't know how excited I am for a Last of Us 2 coming out now as maybe I would have been if it was coming off fresh with the PS5 and I got to experience it with like the, oh man, DualSense features, adaptive triggers, the HD rumble, all this stuff, right? Like we're far enough into the PS5 generation where those selling points aren't as tantalizing to me.
But so here's the problem with what you're saying, because I agree. I remember, infamously, there are a couple like key like canon event moments in my life of me and you on Games Daily that I'll just always remember. And Last of Us 2 getting delayed was one of those moments. Where it was like, oh my God, this is really happening. And when they announced that date of June or whatever, or I guess there was a moment where we didn't know the date. I was convinced they were just going to hold it for the PS5 and that they were going to do a Breath of the Wild type cross-gen thing. And they didn't. So Last of Us launched months before the PS5, which is wild to think. But we had Miles Morales, we had Astro, we had so much going for the PS5, and I feel like pretty much without fail, since that launch, we've had a strong PS5
Yeah, it's
lineup.
been a consistent cadence.
Maybe, and especially considering the pandemic and everything.
Like there's been some gaps here and there, but even those gaps have been filled. Like before Spider-Man 2 this year, we hadn't really had, we had Horizon Call of the Mountain, Horizon DLC, and VR, right? But like that doesn't necessarily speak to everybody in that way. But even in those moments, you have a Final Fantasy 16 that'll come through. And so like, consistently PlayStation's been pretty good about, at the very least, exclusives and people having something to play.
And I feel like we're finally looking at the first, I don't even want to call it a drought because that's being very dramatic with Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth and things happening. But it is the slowest time, the slowest future of the PS5 we've ever had. So I think now being at that point, 4 years removed from, or coming up on 4 years removed from Last of Us 2 coming out.
Jesus.
I'm excited to replay it more than ever. If it came out earlier, I wouldn't.
Yeah, would we have replayed it?
And also, would we have had the time?
I can testify to that because I was on the role of like, when the HBO show was coming out, I was playing the remake in parts to like line up with like where I thought the episode would end. And then once I was done with my playthrough and then done watching the HBO show, I started a replay of part 2 just because I was like, God, this world is so good. These characters are so good. And then I dropped off like very early. It was a lot of Last of Us in a short amount of time. So yeah, timing wise, I think it makes more sense than I would have given it credit for.
And like, to be fair, I played Last of Us Part 1 when they dropped that remaster for PS5, even in the midst of everybody being like, oh, we want to remake. The fact of the matter is that so many people, me, myself included, fucking love Last of Us 1. And they also dropped that at a place where you would say maybe there's a drought here, right? Because that was last year, right? That was 2022. That was months and months before God of War Ragnarok. I guess that was months and months after Horizon, right? Like there was a gap there for PlayStation first party, and Last of Us Part 1 filled that in nicely. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I have time to play this. Let's go. Last of Us Part 2 right now for 2024. God damn, it's 2024. There is like, we don't have much concrete like dates or we don't have a concrete idea of what first party PlayStation stuff is happening. Concord is announced. And I think that's it. Like there's Final Fantasy, right? But that's not even first party.
What's the Bungie one that's internally
Marathon? But that never even got like an external release date.
Yeah,
like that as far as we understand, right, it's just announced. And so yeah, like if you come out in Game Awards and go, hey, like we're starting this year off with a banger. In February, you're getting Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. In March or April, you're getting Last of Us Part 1 or Part 2 remastered or director's cut, probably, right? Like, I think that's a steady cadence, especially if that director's cut has any new content. Like we talked about.
So that's the question, right?
Yeah, like what the Gustavo recently we talked about how there was a store where he was talking about how he's essentially KK Slider in Last of Us 2, this new version where like you can find him and have him play music for you. If that's there, what else is there, right? Like, what else are you doing? Is it going to come with and this is me probably taking things too far, but how cool would it be if it came with a Left Behind, or if it came with like an extra story that is 2 to 3 hours of gameplay?
And this is something that, this has been rumored for years, I think, at this point, or at least a year, because I remember we've talked about it before. I'd be fascinated to see if they, again, a director's cut, is there a version of the story that we can play through that does day 1, day 1, day 2, day 2, day 3, day 3, instead of doing days 1 through 3 and then doing days 1 through 3 again? Again, I'm trying to be as vague as possible.
Interesting.
I don't know if they'll actually do that, because one of my theories for remake was that they would try to interweave Left Behind into like the main like Last of Us campaign. They didn't do that, so that's probably a lot of like reworking and stuff. That'd probably be like too much to actually have it pay off, but an interesting idea nonetheless.
I mean, it is, and like I don't know, like I'm personally excited for this because I want to replay Last of Us 2, and like I want to play it with all those fancy bells and whistles, because to your point, like the freshness and excitingness of like the haptics and all the next gen shit like is a little over. But I keep talking about, and like you'll notice it listening to me with any of the PlayStation first party stuff specifically, and Nintendo first party stuff to an extent, but specifically with the DualSense, I am so wowed by the immersion that the haptics give me. Like I'm such a fan of tactile sound, and being able to feel it is so powerful to me, and like making the experience feel more than or greater than. And like Spider-Man 2 was a shining example of that. Like getting that in Last of Us 2 is very exciting to me, and all the extra fancy bells and whistles that it'll come with. Like I don't know how much better I need Last of Us 2 to look, but like that's a good thing. Like,
for me, I'm excited to play it not during 2020. Like playing Last of Us Part 2 in June 2020 was such a tough way to play that game. And for me, I think it took a lot out of it for me, where as fun as that game is, and like for as much as they're doing with the story, there are parts of that story that didn't sit well with me at that time, and honestly might not sit well with me at this time, right? Like it's not like the world's all healed. Like there's like an Israel-Palestine war that's going down, and Last of Us Part 2 has like parallels to that type of shit as well. So I think I'm very curious to see how this game lands for people, and if it comes out, let's say 2024, compared to 2020. Like, is it a better reception? Is it a worse reception? Like, I think the actual tones and themes of this game might speak differently going into next year than previously.
And I'm interested in that because like I love Last of Us 2, and I feel like, you know, I think with Spider-Man 2, God of War 2, Last of Us 2, I'm literally like, I love all of these so much. So it like almost feels silly to have to pick a favorite, but like I do think Last of Us 2 is better than Last of Us 1. And that's hard to say now that in the last 2 years, I've replayed Last of Us 1, I've watched the show, and I'm like, God damn, Last of Us 1 is good. So I'm kind of ready to question, is Last of Us 2 as good as it was to me originally? But here's the big question, Bless.
What up?
$70.
It's going to be $70.
And
I think they're going to try and justify it. I think that's why it'll probably be a director's cut, is that they're going to try to justify it with new content. Like that's where we're at, right? Like base or at least premium PlayStation games, as they look at it, are $70. Correct me if I'm wrong. Last of Us Part 1 was $70, right? Because I believe that was a big hubbub that people got mad about.
But the difference there, Last of Us Part 1, dramatic like upgrade in visuals and animations and like all of that, the fidelity of it. It's so much more than even the remaster was.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be that.
I mean, it's going to be a little bit like, it's not going to be as dramatic as Last of Us Part 1, but like it's going to have like the ray tracing performance. Like it's going to have all those features of a PS5. It might have some more new content. And also like PlayStation doesn't care. Like for them, it's a new release. It's a new release of a premium title, and so they're going to charge full price for it.
I'm just hoping, and this is something where I love it. It's so funny because normally we have these conversations talking about like decade-old games of like, oh, it looks how you remember it looking, and then you go back and look at it, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But like in my mind, Last of Us Part 2 and Last of Us Part 1 remake look similar. And there are some tech things that they don't have, but like I don't think it's going to be enough to justify that price point. I'm not saying they won't use it.
Yeah.
They're going to use it. They're going to use it. But I feel like there is enough of a difference here. If as mad as it made people, The Last of Us Part 1 was 70. If Last of Us Part 2 is 70, I think it'll make even more people even more.
But like why?
Like
Last of Us 2 is longer than Last of Us 1. Last of Us 2 like has more content than Last of Us 1.
Because Last of Us 2 on PS4 you can get right now for dirt cheap. And if the biggest additions are haptic feedback and stuff like that, I don't think is the same as the increase as haptic feedback and the visual upgrade that Part 1 got. What I'm getting at with you is, I understand people are going to be mad about the price every which way, and like for good reason in a lot of ways. But I think there has to be something new.
See, okay, so I think this is interesting because I think where where this is going to be split at. I'm so curious on when this gets announced and how this gets announced. Is the difference between whether they call it remastered or director's cut? Because the director's cuts that we've gotten, right? Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, both those got substantial new DLC and additions to them. I think of Last of Us Part 2, whatever new version this is a director's cut. Then I think it'll have substantial new content. I think if it's a remaster, then it is like, cool, same game. It's going to have like, 60 FPS performance, all the stuff you expect, DualSense features, whatever. But I could see that maybe being $60.
What's really funny is you're actually kind of like breaking my brain a little bit where like, I mean, you're totally right. If it is Last of Us Part 2 remastered, then yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
They'll get away with it because that's what they're doing. Yeah, maybe 60, but probably 70.
Probably 70 still.
But like, we haven't gotten a remaster on PS5. Like that word is kind of like...
No, we've gotten ports. Wait, actually, have we gotten ports for like PlayStation first party stuff? Because I'm thinking of like Control Ultimate Edition and like Witcher and stuff like that, which I think also was like an Ultimate Edition situation.
Director's cuts.
It's director's cut,
yeah.
which is
so
but
that's what I'm saying. Like
more
separating director's cuts, right? Because like director's cuts, I think for PlayStation is a different thing. That implies more content. From PlayStation, have we gotten a straight up port? Like this is just a PS4 game that we put out that we're putting on PS5, not a cross-gen launch, right? Not God of War. We're talking about like an old game.
Marvel's Spider-Man is the one that
that's remastered. Yes,
that's exactly what I'm looking for.
There we go. That's actually. I mean, that literally is.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's probably what's gonna happen.
CJ Splitson says Uncharted Legacy of Thieves as well, but that like they didn't
that's
call
it
Uncharted remastered,
and that's a collection.
Yeah.
So I feel like that
puts in a different.
There's added value there.
Spider-Man
and also that wasn't
remastered.
70, was it?
Collection? That might have been. It was 2 games.
Uncharted.
Can you buy Spider-Man Remastered like alone yet? Do you still have to buy Miles Morales?
I think they separated it.
Because when they separated it, how much was it?
Oof.
Because if that's the case, then yeah, if this is Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, then I would say $60, $50, maybe even.
So it looks like Legacy of Thieves was $70.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, look.
Also
I think we're both betting this is going to be $70. The question is, what are they doing to soften the blow of that and to explain it?
I think new content.
I hope beyond hope this is a director's cut. Like that to me would be like the best case scenario. They're doing this. You don't need to buy it.
Yeah.
But what would get us excited? A director's cut, not a remaster. I'd still be like, cool, I'm going to play it. But
and like honestly, like, and I mean, what? It doesn't even have to be the most exciting thing. I would love for it to be the most exciting thing, right? Like, give me maybe another, like somebody in chat mentioned like, oh man, I'll be down for like an Abby epilogue or something like that. Like something like that would be dope. Shoot, I'll play. Give me a chapter where I get Ezekiel's story or whatever his name. Isaac.
Oh,
what was his name? The guy that never got enough story. Let me play as that dude for a chapter. See what he's about. Like,
see what he's up to. Yeah.
See what he's up to. I'm down for like some weird shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, look, I think that we are like over expecting anything for them to add because like why would they?
Yeah.
But I do think that with the power of the show right now and with season 2 not out, this is kind of their opportunity to like Neil and Craig are brewing the story for season 2. Like they already have. Like they're about to go into production. What new shit have they added? What changes have they made that they might want to make now?
Hear me out. Left Behind.
Get out.
Left.
No.
Last was Part 2.
No.
Left Behind.
You're done. That's it for today. Thank you, Bless.
Story number
Think
2
about it.
will be read to you in just a second, right after a word from our sponsors. This episode's brought to you by BetterHelp. This time of year can be a lot, and it's natural to feel some sadness or anxiety about it. I can't even count the amount of nights I lose sleep because I just can't stop thinking. My brain just won't stop talking. Therapy gives you a place to do that so you can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace. And it can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny. Story number 2. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth gets tons of new details, screenshots, and a Red 13 narrated trailer. This comes from Ryan Dinsdale at IGN. Square Enix has shared a ton of new gameplay details and screenshots for Rebirth. While the trailer's just a story so far catch-up that will be included in the game's main menu for those who need to be refreshed on Final Fantasy VII Remake, Square Enix shared plenty other bits of information too, including details of new regions, characters, and more. The developer confirmed both active and classic battle modes will return in Rebirth, again letting players choose between fast-paced action or slower-paced decision-making. The sequel will get a new difficulty mode, however, with dynamic joining easy and normal to allow for further player customization. The regions of Calm and the Mithril Mine were also given a deep dive. Square Enix also revealed the synergy abilities would make their debut in Rebirth. These are powerful attacks in which two characters team up to perform, with more abilities unlocking as players level up the party. Cloud can launch Tifa towards an enemy to attack in tandem in the Relentless Rush, for example, while Barrett can throw in Red 13 at high velocity to perform Overfang. Synergy skills have also been added, with these providing other benefits in battle beyond just doing physical damage. Summons were also touched upon by Square Enix, as the developer confirmed they would work in Rebirth the same way as Remake. So there's a lot of new info here. Pretty much all of
this kid.
We got this kid.
Wait, which one was this kid? Was he in
the VR guy?
Child who's like really into studying shit.
No.
Like,
there was more in the IGN article that was like deeper dives into some of the regions, like the Calm and the Mithril Mine and stuff like that. The trailer is like, it's just a recap. I've not seen it yet. Like I want to go back and watch it because like I want to. You're gonna wait till you.
Well,
before
if they're
you play
saying
it.
that this is like the main menu recap thing, I love that games do that now, and I kind of enjoy getting in the mood.
It's a good tone setter.
Yeah,
but like you don't want to just like jump in raw. You know what I mean? Like, because like if I watch it now,
stop it.
if I watch it now, I don't have to watch it when I boot up the game. I can just get straight into. You're not gonna remember what
if you watch it now. You're not gonna remember that in 3 months. I guarantee it.
I mean, it's just the first part of Final Fantasy VII, right? And like I've played that part of that game like 5 times. And I played this game. I'll be fine. I just got to remember like what the ghosts were up to.
Yeah.
What are they up to? What
were the ghosts doing? Like, why were they there again?
Here's the thing. Like, I know I was not outspoken, but I was one of the people who was a little bit disappointed by Final Fantasy VII Remake because I just wanted my OG story again, and then they're doing weird ghost shit and weird timeline stuff, and I was less into that, less into the active time battle, like kind of reinterpretation, reimagining for Final Fantasy VII. But I'm looking at these screenshots, man. Fuck, I want to play Rebirth.
Man.
Fuck, I want to play this game.
It's hard not to be really excited. And like I've said this a bazillion times at this point, but like I have played the opening hours of Final Fantasy VII countless times, and Remake kind of just being the expanded game. I just feel so familiar with that part, but I've always been less familiar with the rest of it. Like whenever I talk to Imran, I'm like, hey man, like out of Midgar on, like I've played this, I've beat this game at least twice, if not 3 times in my life, but like I'm less like, into it for a bunch of different reasons. But I'm excited for this. I feel like this is going to be like the thing that really cements it in my mind and like really gets me stoked on it all. I mean, I did the preview, and like I was saying in the preview, I feel like what they had us play wasn't the most exciting thing but the game is there. The quality's there. I expect this game to completely deliver what I want it to. And what they're talking about here about these synergy attacks is pretty cool. They're pretty much, they don't require any bar or any loading or anything. You just use them as much as you want. And they're super fun and flashy, and they do the team up thing. And there's so many different combinations of the characters of switching them in and out that it just makes it a very pretty game to look at.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I'm down for.
It's just fun. So super stoked about all that stuff and really excited where they take all the story. But like at the end of the day, I just can't believe we are so close to this.
That's my thing is, I remember when we were talking about Spider-Man 2, and you're like, this game doesn't feel, this was before it came out, right? Like, this game doesn't feel like it's already happening, because they weren't like giving us all these marketing materials, and it didn't feel like it was the rollout was happening, right? And we got there and it's like, shit, all right, we're here. Like, there's a preview, we're actually in it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, they've been giving us trailers, like they've been doing all this stuff. You've done a preview. I still, for some reason, don't feel like this game's real. I know it is. Like, I know 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 2.5 months from now, I'm gonna be playing this game. Yeah. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel like that's the case.
Furby Production says Tim didn't explore enough because he was tired, so he didn't get the full experience of the demo. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, I don't know if he's fucking with me or whatever, but like, yo, real talk. Like, I was one of the people at that demo that stayed the longest, and like, I did everything I could in it. Like, So yeah, I don't know.
And
what
I know
talking
you're
about
drinking a
there.
coffee too. You
I
probably
know,
had your
bro, I was
Starbucks
coffeeed up.
venti.
You kidding me? Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
But no, so excited for this thing, and yeah, just a couple months away, and it sounds big, man. Every time they talk about the hours for it, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it the other day that we're entering a new season. We're entering JRPG season, and like this, like a dragon, like the Infinite Wealth. There's more JRPGs.
Persona 3 Reload.
Persona 3 Reload, appreciate it. And like even right now, Mario RPG released today, and I'm still pretty early on in Sea of Stars. Like we're eating right now if you're a JRPG fan, and I'm gearing up because I want to play all these things. Like some of them I'm not gonna get to. Like we'll see if I even touch Infinite Wealth, but yeah, like it's an exciting time if you're this genre fan.
Les, I want you to review Persona 3. Do it.
I want to also. When does it come out compared to Final Fantasy? It's the same month, right?
It's the very beginning of the month because I think Final Fantasy is near the end of February, if I remember correctly.
And it's just gonna be some overlap there, I imagine, because like, I imagine we'd get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth weeks and weeks ahead, right? If this is a 40-hour game, they're gonna give us maybe like, I hope 3 to 4 weeks.
I imagine. Oh.
And that's eating into Persona time.
I think it's gonna be longer.
You know what's crazy too?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting Final Fantasy 16 DLC.
What?
Oh yeah, that was the whole like. Was that rumor or is that?
No,
like,
they announced it.
I forgot
they officially
they
announced
did announce it
at I don't know what it was, but they announced it like a couple months ago. Which like, oh my god, we're getting it, man! I can't wait.
Yeah,
That's gonna be.
We're eating.
Story number 3: Microsoft's made a unique Bluey Xbox Series X.
Let's
Comes
go.
from Ryan Dinsdale at IGN.
We winning.
Bluey's world domination continues as Microsoft has now created a truly unique Xbox Series X console themed after the beloved animated series. Celebrating the launch of Bluey, the video game. Oh my god. Oh my god, look at it.
This is horrifying.
Look at it.
It looks like Bluey ate an Xbox.
Holy
what have I
hell.
done?
Celebrating the launch of Bluey, the video game, Microsoft's made the custom console in a vibrant color to exude Bluey's high energy and lovable personality. Nailed it. The console's basically Bluey herself.
I know. I thought the same thing. Did you know Bluey was a girl?
Do you know Blue from Blue's Clues is a girl?
And that's what I was gonna bring up. I remember learning Blue from Blue's Clues was a girl, and it blew my mind as a kid. Blue and Bluey are both girls.
Yeah.
And also, did Bluey just copy off of Blue's Clues? Because like, have you not talked about
I think
this?
it's a different vibe. I think it is.
It's a blue dog that kids love. They light blue, and she's a girl.
They really did just add a Y at the end, you know?
That's what I'm saying. One is named Blue, the other is named Bluey. How are you going to tell me there's different vibes? This is infringement.
And also, Tim, Magenta was a boy.
Magenta was a boy. They were breaking gender roles early.
Yeah, breaking gender norms
Good
for the
for them.
kids.
The console's basically Bluey herself, featuring the beloved Australian cattle dog puppy in all her glory. The controller, which features matching blue tones, includes an image of Bluey alongside her sister Bingo. Only one console exists, but fans have a chance to win it by following Xbox on X. Only one console exists? This sucks, because I definitely want this, and I would have switched out my Xbox Series X
do
at
this
home
all
to see
the
what
time.
G says.
Just like, he walks in, just like, what the like, gets jump scared. You just hear a scream from the other room, and you're like, what? Bluey! Bluey! She's square.
So fans have a chance to win it by following Xbox on Twitter and retweeting the official Xbox sweepstakes post before December 13th. So get on it, everybody. Good luck.
I hate that they do this all the time where they make really, I think, cool looking consoles, and they only make like one or like a few for a sweepstakes.
Literally one of these. That's
yeah,
weird,
and
man.
I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like if you made 100, they'd sell. I feel like if you made 500, they'd sell. Like, I'd just make a few more.
Yeah. Just make it
Let Gary
one.
Wood get one.
Yeah, Gary Wood deserves one.
Oh, Gary Wood probably desperately wants.
Yeah, let's. Can you pull up Gary Wood's Twitter real quick?
Yeah, has he tweeted about this yet?
Hold on, I need to fix an internet problem.
Unless he's still asleep. Like
Gary Wood either asleep or begging for the Bluey Xbox.
Oh, you know what? His Twitter isn't active.
What?
Yeah, he's off. He announced this yesterday. Yeah,
Did he really?
Yeah, he's off Twitter now.
Wow.
And you can't pull up threads on desktop yet, can you?
Damn.
Damn.
Well, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on there,
orders.
isn't there? Story number 4. Aspyr claims that KotOR 2 Switch DLC was canceled because a third party objected. This comes from Jordan Midler at VGC. Publisher Aspyr Media has claimed that the canceled KotOR 2 Nintendo Switch DLC at the center of a class action lawsuit was down to third-party objection. The Switch port's announcement trailer, which was published a couple weeks ahead of its June 22nd, June 22.
June 2022.
This is Bluey stuff, man. I can't get out of it. You know what I mean? It's just all I'm thinking about. June 2022 release stated that the restored content DLC was coming soon, and Aspyr subsequently said it would arrive in the third quarter of 2022. However, in June 2023, Aspyr announced that plans to release the DLC had been canceled. As compensation, it offered customers who bought the game the chance to download one of 7 other games free of charge, including KotOR 2 on Steam. Now, Axios reports that Aspyr co-CEO Ted Salich said Aspyr believed it would be able to release the content, but a third party objected and Aspyr wasn't able to do so. They also moved to have a class action lawsuit dismissed both last month and this month. A hearing on Aspyr's motion to dismiss the case is set for the end of the month. Despite their failure to release KotOR's restored content DLC, defendants refused to give refunds to purchasers of KotOR, reads a class action lawsuit filed in July individually and on behalf of all others similarly situated, which was spotted by thegamer.com.
Cool.
Your icon's blocking me. We have an update on the KotOR remake from Grub.
Yeah, that's. I think that wasn't part of the article. I think that's something.
I added that in because I noticed that. Hold on, let me.
Gotcha. Before we get there, though, to talk. Oh my God, Grub's face. Wait, is Grub here, or is this? Are you looking for Grub?
It's the ghost of Grub.
I didn't know if this was like a call-in situation where like he just hasn't spoken yet. He's
just standing really still. He has much shorter hair now.
Yeah. But on this, who would the third party be that would be having?
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I that's
Mark
a
Hamill?
third party.
Would it not be just Lucasfilm?
But like they're letting them release KotOR 2, right?
Yeah.
Like, isn't Lucasfilm in charge of this?
Well, KotOR 2, yes, but maybe there's something about the DLC that they're not a fan of, or like whether it's like, you know, like the way Lucasfilm operates with like a lot of people, especially when it comes to video games, they get very protective over specific lore things. So there's a possibility that like the DLC handles some lore stuff that like might be related to stuff that they are planning to do soon.
Yeah.
So that's a weird possibility. You know?
Maybe, but I also feel like you wouldn't do that if it would lead to like the developer and publisher getting sued, right? Like if there's a class action lawsuit happening where because you're not giving the audience the DLC that you promised, like I feel like Lucasfilm. I don't think
Lucasfilm knows how much gamers can be gamers.
Yeah,
you know?
but like they'll get the word that the lawsuit's happening. Like, oh fuck, we promised it. All right, cool, make it happen. Like I feel like it can't be Lucasfilm. Like, but I'm also like, who the fuck is it then?
I mean, in this case, I think third party can mean a million things. Third party doesn't mean third party the way we're thinking about it. A third party could be PlayStation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Nintendo or Xbox. I don't know. What's Grub's update? Grub's smarter than us.
Grub's update, not on the KotOR 2 DLC, but on the KotOR remake this morning on Game Mess Mornings with one Tamor Hussein. Jeff Grubb stated Star Wars KotOR remake is not being worked on in any way by any studio right now.
Wow.
Cool. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, exactly.
Just based on everything we've heard, it's like, yeah, that feels about right.
It just hurts to hear it out loud, though. You know.
So like going back to a few months ago where we talked about the PlayStation trailer being pulled, like that game's never coming out, right? Like that's part of the reason. I know we said it was like some license shit, but like I feel like there's also like somebody who's like, yeah, just take it down. Like we don't want to deal with this anymore. We reviewed this at the PlayStation Showcase. It was a mistake. It was never gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I hope somebody else picks it up. Like I hope it gets like, you know, Metroid Prime forward and like restarted and worked on by a Blue Point or somebody.
Me too. What is Blue Point working on? Bless.
Original content, I think they said a long time ago at this point.
See, man.
Bloodborne.
That is one of the things I want to know most in video games. One of the biggest unknowns is
Blue Point
what is Blue Point working on?
Bluey Point, says Gym Leader Phil.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I think they might be working on their own game. Like it might, and like people want Bloodborne 2. I think most Bloodborne fans actually wouldn't want a Bloodborne 2 from Blue Point. That might be a crazy thing to say, but like I feel like if you want Bloodborne 2, you want it from Software. You want it from the mind of Miyazaki, right? And so I don't think they would touch that. Even Shadow of the Colossus 2, I personally be like, hey, I'm down for it because Ueda is never gonna make it. But you know, I still think that it'd be weird just on the what we associate that game with side of it. So I think maybe they're just working on their own new IP. Like I think they could be working on their own new game. What kind of game is it?
I don't know.
Maybe it's their own Souls-like.
Who the hell knows, man?
That'd be sick, actually.
Who the hell knows? Story number 5. Dragon's Dogma 2 has possibly leaked the release date. Just the release date.
Somebody in chat says Bloodborne remake. Y'all got mad over Last of Us Part 1 remake. You want a Bloodborne remake?
60 FPS.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a
30 is
remake,
rough,
though.
baby.
Just add 60 FPS. That's a PS5 port. Not a remake.
Director's Cut. Special edition. Dragon's Dogma 2's release may have just leaked. This comes from Rhiannon Bevan at The Gamer. And it's closer than we thought. According to the game's age rating page on the PEGI website, Dragon's Dogma 2 is launching on March 22nd, 2024. So just a few months away. This discovery was made by Reset Era user --R, who shared a link to the PEGI website. The PEGI page with a release date listed. According to the site, it will launch on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation on the same day. Bless, you remember the first time you clicked on a trailer and it said PEGI 16?
And I was like,
you're
who
like,
the
what the
fuck is
fuck's
Peggy?
happened? Yeah.
I've never met a Peggy in my life. The only Peggy I know is now the Captain America. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Captain Britain. Well, I don't know her name.
Captain Carter is what they call
Carter.
it.
Sorry.
Dragon's Dogma 2, you played it.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked it.
You excited for this on March 22nd, 2024? You having played the game last month, what do you think that sounds about right?
Yeah,
Are
no,
you
that sounds
excited
about
for
right.
that?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, Capcom, they're a well-oiled machine over there. Like, I believe them on any of their release dates. I feel like they've not missed in terms of, hey, we got a game coming out 5 months from now, and it comes out, you know, like when was the last time a Resident Evil got delayed?
Yeah, they call their shots. That is true.
They call their shots and they happen unless the game's called Pragmata. Then like it doesn't happen.
You're right.
But
you're right.
Dragon's Dogma
Or,
2.
What was the other one?
Oh, was there another one?
Nights Out or whatever.
Nights
Deep
Out.
Down. Deep Dive.
Oh, Deep Down.
Dark
Deep Down. Deep Down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched the trailer for Deep Down a couple weeks ago, believe it or not. And when I tell you that trailer is ridiculous,
Yeah.
the fact that any of us thought that was happening, we're idiots. And we're not doing a post show, but we got time. Barrett, just prep the Deep Down trailer for later in the show, sometime after out today, maybe.
That's
because
so
like we need to
funny.
watch the Deep Down trailer and think to ourselves, was that game ever coming out? Because the answer is no. Why the fuck do we believe them? It makes me mad watching it back.
I'm excited for that because I don't know why you would say that.
It looks like a PlayStation 6 game. And we thought it was going to be a PS4 early title.
That's so
And it has
freaking
online
funny.
elements. This is before Bloodborne, right? This is like well, I think Dark Souls had happened. So maybe we thought like, oh man, this might be another one of those.
God damn, you're right.
But like, look at this
The
fucking
facial
game.
animation is like, this looks modern. That's hilarious.
This looks postmodern. Like this looks like something that's coming out
Postmodern?
two consoles from now. We thought this game existed.
Damn, dude.
Also, what did we think the gameplay was going to be?
I don't know.
Like we just saw a trailer and went,
First-person
oh, that looks
adventure
pretty. We want it.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Like, come
Wow.
on, look at this, dude. The cool ass dragon. The best
God
fire
damn.
effects I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, holy shit.
This-
That's
Oh, this unlocked a memory.
Yeah, like this looks like, you remember when we saw the Unreal Engine 5 like demo where she was like flying through all like the mountains or whatever, and they talked about how you had all the fucking polygons and whatever.
all the dirt was falling.
All the dirt was falling off. That you could have played this video and had the same voiceover, and we would have been like, oh man, there's a lot of polygons.
You know what's weird in terms of like the tech demo stuff? This is another one that I'd love for you to bring up, Barrett. Look up Agni's Philosophy. AGNI.
Yes.
I was convinced this was going to be Final Fantasy 16 because like for years I was saying like y'all, it's been so long since they have announced a core Final Fantasy title. Like 15 took so long, and then 14 being an online game. So even if you like just count just the single player ones, like from 13 all the way to 15, and then the wait to 16 took forever. And this Agni's Philosophy thing felt like such a fleshed out world. Like clearly a tech demo. They even said it was a tech demo, but
Yeah.
like there was characters.
Wait,
in
when
this.
was this?
Oh
It's
man.
11 years ago, it says.
Jesus.
Wow, that's crazy. But like, I remember I watched this like on repeat, dude. Like
I
it
to-
looks so cool. Like skim to the end a little bit. Like when she starts using her powers, like it's just, I want to
See-
know what her philosophy is, man.
I love that we all have tech demos that we like stuck to. I know so many people remember the Zelda tech demo for the Wii U. right? Well, it was the Wii U, right?
Well, there was the GameCube one, and then there was the Wii U one.
Yeah, the Wii U one where I was like, oh man, this looks insane.
The Star Wars 1313 trailer still haunts me to my days.
God.
Yes.
But that was like an actual game though, right? That wasn't even a tech demo. That was like that game was supposed to happen. The one that always stuck with me was the Quantic Dream Kara demo, and we got that game.
We did.
Yeah.
And that blows my mind that we actually got that, because I was obsessed with that game. That was back when I was a Quantic Dream fan, right? That was like my stan. I was like, that was my toxic fave. Because I really liked Heavy Rain back in the day, and I didn't really like Beyond Two Souls that much, but I was still ride or die. And so I saw the Kara demo, and I was like, I really need this game. Like, I need this game so badly. And then we finally got the E3 trailer for Detroit Become Human, and like, I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe it was actually happening. And we got the game. It was cool. I actually really like Detroit, but like,
I mean, this is so funny. Mr. Anderson saying the Final Fantasy VII PS3 tech demo. Like that. The opening of Final Fantasy VII done in PS3 graphics, and we ended up getting it on PS4, and now we're getting a sequel on PS5.
Insane, dude.
Oh
yeah, but yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2. I can't wait to see, like, for it to come through and see what the conversation is around it. Like, see fans take to it and all that stuff, because it had really fun combat. I had a really fun time playing it. I think it's such a niche, not even niche, I guess like unique game, I should say, right? Because it is. Hey, you have kind of Shadow Colossus climbing on characters. You have like a bunch of companions that you're following. You have like griffins that you'll climb on and fly around. Like, it's such a weird game, but it's also, the time I had with it was really fun. And so I'm hoping that around this time, like, there's not much else happening, so I can actually put some time into this thing, because it'd be really fun.
Exactly.
I do have a question in the thing. If you're like, do we?
No. I was just like, I'm just looking. I'm trying to see. There's a tech demo I'm trying to remember, but I'm blanking on it right now. I might get to it later if I remember it. Bless. That's so far away.
It's so far.
If I wanted to know what's coming to Mom and Grab Shops today, where would I look?
You would look toward the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the KindaFunny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday. Yeah.
It's not a tech demo, but I do want to talk about Final Fantasy Versus 13, because it might be one of the biggest heartbreaks of my life. Like,
but you got it.
No, I didn't.
It's called Final Fantasy 15.
I hate you so much.
You saw the trailer where they crossed out the 13 and then added the 15.
I lost my shit. Dude, that was like one of the bigger first E3s I did at IGN, and we were in the war room. Like, there was probably like 50 people in the room watching the press conference live, and when that happened, how loud that room got, and how most of it was me. When that 13 turned into a 15, and also Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced at that same conference.
Insane.
Dude. Absolutely nuts. But man, the Final Fantasy Versus 13 original trailer is probably my most watched video game trailer of all time, because the music it is so damn good. And there's a vibe and an energy. It was the first time we really saw like blood like that in a Final Fantasy. He's out there fucking teleporting, cutting motherfuckers open.
Can you prep the Final Fantasy 13 trailer?
Sitting on his throne. Oh, there's just nothing cooler, man.
I remember, I think I was talking to you about Stevie yesterday, and how Stevie was the friend that was like the Final Fantasy friend, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, Versus 13 was such his thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo.
What trailer is this?
Just teaser. If you type in Final Fantasy Versus 13 teaser,
okay,
it's like a minute and a half maybe.
But yeah, I remember watching with him being like, yeah, this looks really cool. This looks really cool.
Does that sound right? 14
years?
Maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's this one. We need the audio on this.
Yeah, what does the cloud mean in the top right?
This is like some fan page or fan YouTube channel.
Oh, gotcha.
Shimamura, man, she don't miss.
Look at how young Noctis still looks. It's
yeah.
fucking wild.
Come on.
Like, come on, dude.
He has Protect up.
That's the nerdiest thing you've ever said in your life. he's casting the Protect spell. You know, the one.
Dude. Like, I know that now we have video games that are like this all the time. And like, I mean, we got 15. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth exists. But like, he just cracked that man's neck between his legs. They're shooting against the thing and it's killing themselves.
Oh god, this is sick as hell.
It's Reflect.
Yo,
they're using Reflect.
What year was it, like 2007 or something like that? That was a different time. Where like the simplest things we just so hyped.
Look at this. Throwing the sword up to teleport to it to get higher up the goddamn skyscraper before coming down to fucking wreck these fools.
You could do that in 15, Tim.
Yeah, I know. And also Kingdom Hearts. Your Zura, baby. Oh,
Yo, yeah, Yoko Shimomura going
dude,
off.
this song's Somnus. I'm telling you, dude, it is. Oh. Nothing cooler.
Yo,
The two coolest things in the world. Two equally minded but oppositional ideology people sitting playing chess.
oh my God. Let me tell you about Drake and J. Cole and the newest music video.
No way.
Oh yeah.
No way.
Oh yeah. In the news,
Good for them.
They remake there's like a famous image of, I think it's Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo playing chess. They remake that image as J. Cole and
Good for
Drake
them.
in the new music video. And
for
when I
them.
tell you I got hyped, and then later on in the music video, J. Cole's wearing a Spider-Man suit, and it's fucking fantastic.
I need to check that
Yeah,
out.
you
That
need to
is-
watch it.
that is so
You're gonna
awesome.
love the music video.
Ah, hell yeah,
First-person
man.
shooter.
But the second coolest thing,
Uh-huh.
sitting on a throne all
Oh
on one
yeah,
side.
like Conquer. Conquer's Bad Fur Day.
Exactly. Out today, Naruto Cross Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections on PS5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. Persona 5 Tactica on PS5 series, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. If you want Barrett's thoughts on that, where could they find them?
Monday's KFGD.
Tuesday's KFGD.
Tuesday's KFGD.
KFGD is where I gave my thoughts on that. And I forget who it was who was tagging me in tweets last night, but wondering about spoilers for main P5. If you haven't played through P5 fully yet, or P5 Royal, I would say at least get through December into January before you play Tactica, because Tactica will kind of reference major beats from that stuff. So just a heads up, but it's a very fun tactics game.
Next up, Super Mario RPG on Switch. This is a game that I really just want to take a second to give a shout out to, because I think it's going to get lost in the shuffle of everything. It is such a special game for nostalgic reasons, but this remake is utterly incredible. There's so much joy and charm in it, and I feel like anybody that plays it is going to find a good time. And I want to support this type of remake because they damn understood the assignment, and it's really special. And I know how much is going on. You're gonna love this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough because Sea of Stars is like, it's mechanically similar, where you're doing the thing where you click the attack and then you click the button to do the attack or whatever.
No rush to play it. I'm just saying, at some point in your life, make time to play this.
I want to pick it up. Maybe
game.
On, I think, upcoming Gamescast, the plan might be to talk about like the games we have planned for the rest of the year, and I think that might be my winter break game.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna love it. Like
I'm traveling
really
for
special,
winter break too, so bring along my Switch. It's gonna be perfect.
We got Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X. We have Bluey the video game
What a release day.
everywhere. And The Walking Dead Destinies everywhere. Downwell on mobile. New dates for you. Spyro's coming to Crash Team Rumble on December 7th. Hell yeah. And then Dragon's Dogma 2 showcase is set for November 28th at 1 p.m.
I wonder what they're going to announce there.
Time. Deals of the day for you. You can get Amazon's Black Friday sale. Some of them are live, including EA Sports FC 24 for $30, Jedi Survivor for $35, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope for $15, and Final Fantasy 16 for $40. Pretty damn cool.
And then I threw this in here. Wario tweeted out that Half-Life is free to own on Steam until November 20th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw this morning, but then it like reverted back, and it looks like now it's back to being free. So hell yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna add this because I don't think I own Half-Life, and I still not played all the way through Half-Life. But I also want to play the Half-Life Black Mesa, which is the remake.
Was it a fan remake or was it a?
I think I think it started off as a fan thing and then got officialized.
Yeah, that's what I own is Black Mesa.
I'm gonna add this to my account anyway.
Let's look at your wrong to see what we got wrong. Tonez Chaser says the Last of Us composer's name is Gustavo Santaolalla.
Oh, Santaolalla.
So that is what they said.
No, they said Santalasha
You're right.
in the thing. Yeah.
Wait, no, you're right. Yeah, man. All right, cool.
Come
Yeah.
on, like that's so far off.
That's not what this says. Yeah.
Stop it. Pronouncenames.com.
Cheyenne has some context that I do think is important here. While Uncharted: The Legacy of Thieves was $70, it had a $10 upgrade path for people who owned either of the two games. I think having something like this for TLU 2 would be the right move. While I agree, I don't think there's a chance. I think we've moved on past that stuff. That was an early, like the cross-gen stuff where Smart Delivery and PS5's disaster was all being figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, they're just releasing PS5 games now.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it being like if it's remastered, maybe having like a $10 upgrade. But yeah, if it's a director's cut, no way. They're not going to do it.
We got Big Bad Beluga saying the Final Fantasy 16 DLC and PC port were formally announced at PAX West.
There you go.
Madrocta says, Tim, not to break your mind more, but Samus is also a girl.
Oh shit.
Spider-Man Remastered has become available to purchase separately on May 4th, 2023. It's $50 and currently 50% off until November 28th. Thank you, Gabe PH.
When you said Death Stranding Director's Cut was also a $10 upgrade. Was that on PC or was that also on PlayStation, chat? Let me know.
Sal Romano says, not necessarily you're wrong, but since you guys were wondering what the gameplay of Deep Down would look like, it was playable at Tokyo Game Show in 2013.
No way.
And
Also,
there's a lot of footage online.
Now that I think about it, Death Stranding first came to PC during the Director's Cut, so that wouldn't have been the case. Never mind. Disregard me. That's wild.
Yeah.
Have people ever talked about it? Like, have we ever gotten Deep Down previews?
All of those people from TGS, we haven't seen them since.
Yeah, they just started disappearing all of a sudden.
And then Big Bad Beluga brings up something that's actually very, very smart, saying a lot of lore and ideas from Agni's Philosophy tech demo was adapted into the game that would become Forspoken, as it was made by the team that became Luminous Studio or Luminous Productions. And yeah, that's absolutely
is this Deep
right.
Down?
Yeah.
I apologize. Capcom, my bad. My bad.
Didn't mean to
It's the
disrespect your game.
But also, this looks incredible. What the fuck? Like the fire? Actually, no. When you're standing still, the fire looks incredible. When they're doing like some camera movements, they look kind of flat. But like, this is fascinating.
It really is.
What was the gameplay? Was this co-op taken out of? Is this like Monster Hunter?
It seems like weird Monster Hunter plus Dark Soulsy vibe.
And they're just spawning walls.
Yeah.
All right, get this out of here. Get this out of here.
Blue Young in this chat just says Dick Rider. What could possibly have prompted that?
I mean, the dick of Capcom, you know.
Oh
no, I don't think, because I've been hating on Deep Down this whole time. I'm trying to go back because like I don't know.
Maybe they were talking about
Blue's
someone in the
Clues.
chat.
I mean, I do. I do love Blue's Clues, and I was hating on Bluey in defense of Blue's Clues.
Interesting. Let us know in the comments below. Whatever you want, actually.
Yeah, just
You know what I
talk
mean?
to us.
Just
Yeah, have a conversation.
Did you know that Bluey was a girl? You know,
Did you know that Blue was a girl?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know.
Did you know that Bluey and her family were all Australian?
No.
No, not a chance.
Down there fighting spiders and kangaroos, Bluey. That's crazy, dude.
I knew Bluey was an Australian cattle dog. I didn't know that they were Australian, which I know sounds stupid, but I have a Pomeranian. That doesn't mean they're from Pompeii. Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.